Very good afternoon to all of you. Last session, but not the least, I think we'll do sufficient justice to the session. There are only 3 speakers, including myself. So let me first introduce the speakers. how करने के बाद में कोई दिक्कत नहीं. We have with us the distinguished speakers on the dais, Mr. Dr. Rakesh Kumar, OSD, CSIR, and former director of Negi, Mr. Harsh Kumar, Director, Ammonia Technology, KBR, and Mr. Mukul Das, Director, Sri Ram Institute of Research, and myself, Dr. Negi. I am former member of PNGRB and associated with the industry. Now, thanks to Dr. Garg and his team for addressing such kind of issues like hydrogen. And I think another session is waste to energy. These are very, very contemporary issues which needs really deliberations. And I have been associated with his efforts, I think right from the beginning. Everything was success or more than success, excepting one issue, sir, I still remember, the shale gas. I don't know why it has not come up in India, even after good initiative from the government as well as the people, but maybe it is better economics which determines ultimately the output. As you have seen in the previous session also, even anything, hydrogen technology, fuel cell, or any other thing, that the environment is one issue, but it is driven again by the economics of the thing. But let's see, one issue more comes up. In this today, in presentation, this is basically the mobility, hydrogen mobility and the ammonia mobility, green hydrogen, green ammonia. Incidentally, I'm chairing the session, but I was one of the speakers. So let me have my presentation and then we'll dwell upon various issues coming up from the participants. Can you have your slides? Yeah. So the topic is green hydrogen, green ammonia for heavy transportation and mobility. Let me again, within myself is a academic person, so I want to understand myself and make understand others also. When you are taking hydrogen, we must know what is hydrogen actually, why it is required for mobility, and what are the problems with this. It's one of the lightest element, atomic weight 1.008 only, then gas density 0.09 gram per liter. What I am putting here, I am trying to compare itself with the very, very benign fuel, that is natural gas, or you can say methane. That is my comparison. Then liquid density 70.8 kg per meter cube, auto ignition 585, liquefaction temperature -253, only is 20 degrees Celsius less than the absolute zero. So it gives you something, at least how to get that much cold. Then you have reduction of volume or liquefaction 787 times, methane 600 times. So that was contraction in the volume take place when the gas of hydrogen gas converted into liquid hydrogen. Then you have calorific value 33,889, almost 3 times than your ethane, almost. So per kg, the calorific value, the heat value or the energy value of hydrogen is so high, and discharges water only. When you burn it or get the energy out of it, it is a pure water, so zero pollution. Then you have, now the same concept is a hydrogen burns with oxygen giving you water. Water used to be quenching media, but it is output media. So people said, okay, this is one of the best item to go for a green globe, zero emissions or carbon-free environment. Till 4 years back, this was a concept. But today, if you see, the concept has changed. Now you say hydrogen can fuel anything. If you see the European Union, they say it's for the heating purpose. Their aim is heating. If you see the Japanese, they say CSP. So what I want to say that this hydrogen, we started its journey from a fuel or an element. It's not a fuel actually, it's a carrier. For a media or a element or a product which will make good environment. But today you see it is actually penetrated in your life. Whole mobility, I'll cover that again. Then you have the mobility concept come when you move. So ultimately people feel there has to be a dispenser, there has to be a vehicle. That was the original concept, but it has changed the concept. It says the S2 mobility presents an alternative to reducing the CO2 emissions. That was a concern. So today concept also I was going through why ammonia. I will address that also, why ammonia. Then hydrogen stored in vehicle is converted to electricity by a fuel cell. We have seen in previous session, lot of good presentation by ISRO also on fuel cell. So the fuel cell gets carrier S2 in it and gives you the electricity in the fuel cell. That's a converter. And now, as I said, not only for the environmental, but it is used for anything now. You can have that trucks, ship, and trains. Again, when you say 200 years ago, experimentally, hydrogen was used as a IC engine, internal combustion engine. And fuel cell made in 1839 and commercialized in 1970. It was a study conducted by Deloitte and Ballard in 2020. It's still available, people, you can refer to this. So, but it is commercialized only in 1970, and also the commercial vehicle launched in 2014 only by Toyota. That opened really the gateway for mobility. 2014, the best year. And as I said, it can use your trucks, ships, and trains. Now, we have hydrogen production processes. Just dwelling upon very quickly. Two routes. One route is your fossil fuel. Second will be the renewables. And the source, as you have seen in the previous session, the source indicates the way from where the hydrogen is coming and the problem which is carries with it. So therefore, they have given the color code also. If you say black hydrogen, it means yes, something very bad where whole environment must be polluted. I'll come with this. So this fossil fuel based reforming process, gasification of coal. This was one of the very old processes. If you see in India, way back in, I think not even 50s, after India got freedom, we established fertilizer plant. The technology of making fertilizer was basically ammonia route. The ammonia started with coal gasification, for your fuel oil for gasification, LHS gasification. Then fourth generation came reformer. So this is reforming of natural gas to give you the syngas and ultimately give you the hydrogen. Second process, gasification of coal, same process, partial oxidation, then reforming, or you call it shift conversion rather, where you can again hydrogen. And then third is a pyrolysis process, where heat temperature cracks the your fossil fuel molecules, which contain hydrogen and carbon. And that gives you the hydrogen. Renewable based, this is where we are focusing because we want green environment. And everything green, you see, Dr. Garg has painted everything green. So he says everything green, hydrogen green, ammonia green. But actually they are colorless. But still we see renewable energy source is green energy source. Water splitting, one of the very popular. It has three systems, electrolysis process, whether the electrolyte alkaline or PM polymer electrolysis or SOEC, solid oxide electrolyzing. This is available for your study. You can go anywhere and scan it. Then thermochemical process, where you can use sulfur iodine cycles or copper chlorine cycle. Then PW, photoelectric water splitting. These are the three processes where you can split water into hydrogen as well as in oxygen. So that is one of the best source, renewable energy. Then we have biomass process, biological, biophotolysis, dark fermentation, photofermentation, microbial electrolysis, and then we have thermochemical biomass gasification. They are the process from renewable energy based process. We call biomass also renewable energy because it is renewable. It is always available because of the waste. This is what we call the PM electrolyzer. They are basically polymer based electrolyzer which are very, very modular. And you need not to have a tailor-made electrolyzer. This is one of the big problem, but I think we have, day before yesterday there was a conference. I was told that there is a fusion reactor coming up. I mean, I could not follow fully, but as to scan, the fusion electrolyzer will be such that you can make it in a zonal wise, create hydrogen, and push it in the mobility. This is a new thing. You can also scan, and we can interact after the session also. So this is what the concept. Then we have production-based color. Interesting, actually. Well, I'm subscribing that hydrogen has no color. This color have been given only to recognize the source, vis-a-vis how much bad it is for the environment. If I say white, the environment may existing hydrogen is a white color, but you can't use it actually. It is in the form of some what you call compounds, like water itself. Water has 2 molecules of hydrogen, 1 molecule of oxygen, but you can't, until you have electrolysis process, you can't get it. But that hydrogen which exists in the atmosphere is called a white hydrogen. Best. Brown and black, as I said, coal gasification process, that is called brown and black, the worst kind of things. Because to get a clean energy in the form of hydrogen, you are making environment somewhere else polluted. That's why it's called black or brown. Then we have gray. This natural gas without capturing CO2. If you go for reforming process, steam reforming, and don't capture the CO2, then it is your gray hydrogen. Then blue, when you produce hydrogen from the natural gas, same reforming, steam reforming process, and sequestrize the carbon or CO2, it is called a blue or turquoise. So this gives you slightly better way. So you are coming up in a closer way where there is a much less pressure on the environment. Then pink. Now nuclear plants. Nuclear plants gives you very exothermic process. It gives you in energy in the form of electricity, and it gives you hot water also. So if you are using that electricity produced from the nuclear power plant, it is called a pink hydrogen. Not bad, but it is red when you are using only the hot water. Hot water from nuclear plant used for production of hydrogen, then it will be pink. Red. Then purple, when you are using both, that is electric power as well as the hot water of a nuclear power plant, is purple. And finally, the topic of the day is a green. The green hydrogen is produced by electrolysis of water using electricity generated from the renewable source. The best renewable source is your solar, followed by hydro, followed by wind, and of course biomass. Last session, I coined one word. People are still questioning. I say renewable natural gas. I will call the methane or the natural gas or the what you call this bio-CNG you are producing from the biogas. I will call it renewable natural gas. There's another source, you can use the same proverb. Now you have green ammonia. It must be, wobbling somewhere why green ammonia has been included in this particular session as a mobility. If you see, the green ammonia, you have molecular weight by 2.016 gram, transportation pose big problem in a hydrogen. But you get through ammonia route, then you have, hydrogen when you use as a hydrogen, you need to pressurize it up to 50 bar, 500 bar to 700 bar, and it is so compressed because very light. CNG are compressing in 250 bar, where molecular weight is almost 16. Here you have only 2.016. So you need higher pressure, but energy 3 times. When you have 4.5 kg of cylinder filled with a hydrogen, it can run 800 kilometer in normal vehicle, Honda City. In liquid form, it has temperature minus 253, already covered, and now we come to ammonia. This is a very, very good alternative, rightly coined by the organizers in this particular session. This is liquid at 20 degrees Celsius and 8.6 bar ammonia. the content of hydrogen is 17.8%, or you can say 121 kg per meter cube. Hydrogen content of ammonia. And from ammonia, you can produce hydrogen by a simple endothermic process with a catalyst at 360 to 600. If the temperature is high and catalyst is good, like ruthenium, you can get better output or better yield of the hydrogen. So, if you really are interested to have your hydrogen economy, ammonia can be transported from region to region and decomposed there into hydrogen. So, your transportation problem of hydrogen will get solved. So, I will say the mobility has to be first mobility for the fuel itself. Then you have mobility for your vehicles, train, trucks, and other things. So, this is one of the alternative. This property makes ammonia very useful for long haul transport, vehicles, ships, trains, application, as the refueling station can be regionalized. This concept, if you see, even US is having same concept now. They say, yes, we'll have a regionalized concept of hydrogen storing or hydrogen production even. Because transportation of hydrogen is costly affair. If you liquefy hydrogen from the gaseous form, almost 30% of energy goes for the liquefaction. You are left only 70% energy. And then transportation problem. 700 bar, you can imagine those who are working with the high pressure areas and what it means actually. Then you have this property makes NS3 very useful for long haul transport vehicles, ships, trains application, as the refueling station can be regionalized. Therefore, NS3 is a good alternative to achieve mobility, hydrogen mobility. It is nothing but a new incarnation of, I'll put it, hydrogen. Now, what is actually, I have tried to cover actually what is happening globally, not very large, but very small. I have taken India, one concept what we are going. Now, ultimately, that's the aim actually of this whole conference. We should do what we should do. Then I have tried to go through Japan, China, US, and European Union. Just one slide each. Indian government ramping up measures to increase green hydrogen. Rajasthan to be the first state to implement green hydrogen policy. And let me tell you, Rajasthan is the one state which has created a policy for city gas distribution. Only first state. And understanding what are the problems with city gas distribution, they have legislated or even put the order where the clearances are very easy and where land acquisition is also very easy. So if they come up, I think other states should follow up. Third, India's green hydrogen fueling station being set up in Leh, Ladakh, and that will commission next year, May. That is the target, green energy. And they want to make Ladakh as a carbon neutral by 2050. This is the experiment of the government. Then we have first, India's first hydrogen power train to be ready by next year, Minister of Railways, Government of India. Good step. Then private initiative, Ohmium and AMP Energy. The Ohmium is the one which is very pioneer in PEM electrolyzer, which I showed you the slide earlier. They are very modular design. You can make as your own choice, whatever volume you want to have. So that is one private initiative. Then learning from the international experience. This is very interesting. Ammonia, as I said. The Korean companies called Korea Zinc, Hanwha Impact Corporation, and KOGAS, or SK Gas, they have made a consortium to produce ammonia from the renewables in Queensland, Australia. Queensland is very popular for CBM. Very popular. They have got LNG plant based on CBM. So they will produce ammonia and transport it to Korea. So this is another issue which solves the problem of mobility of the fuel itself. Interestingly. So this, I said, why not to take a lesson from this particular approach. Then we have Indian perspective, Hythane. Because we have been working actually, I think, for last 7-8 years. They mix hydrogen with natural gas. What happens? The efficiency of the engine goes very high because the energy concentration is very high, 3 times of ethane. Hythane used successfully automotive application. S2 mixed natural gas has been transport pipeline. The pipeline transportation is one of the big problem will be the hydrogen embrittlement. If it is normally used in the pipeline which are using APR5X, grade X70 or X60, whatever it is, they are prone to hydrogen embrittlement. So this is one study going on. Then simply the ONGC and Greenco signed MOU for jointly pursue opportunity renewable green gas and green NS3 and its derivative. Interestingly, if you see the last one, India and Egypt, I will call it a sort of experiment or a learning from Korean experience in Australia. The India and Egypt signed MOU to set up 220,000 MTPA of hydrogen at an investment of $8 billion at Suez Canal Economic Zone. Maybe the same thing vibrating in their minds. And then you have seen the minister telling the European Union people that please do not bar trading of free hydrogen in the globe. So the intention of the government of India is very clear, and I think we are going in the right direction. Then US, a short one slide, first country to establish hydrogen and fuel cell technology as part of National Energy Strategy in 1970. They do a lot of good things. Government support and public-private entrepreneurship. The PPP model in the US is very successful. In fact, I was talking earlier also in the success story of the shale gas is basically PPP, private partnership with the government support. In 2019, fuel cell-based cars sold 7271, out of which 6830 are in California itself. So California is usually taking lead there, and US embarks $8 billion for establishing 6 to 8 regional clean hydrogen hubs. That's what I was talking. If you really want to make successful, as the government said, okay, we'll have the LNG formation, 1,000 stations. Where similarly, they have to come out with a hydrogen policy that regional base, fueling station and generating station has to be established. Then we go for China. The first vehicle in 1999, highest hydrogen producing country as of today, almost 25 billion ton per annum hydrogen producing. 3,000 fuel cell-based electric vehicle from 2017 to 2019. As I said, 2014 was a turning point for fuel cell-based vehicles. Government initiative, declassification of hydrogen as part of hazardous chemical category, simplified approval procedure, subsidy on fuel cell-based electric vehicle and refueling stations. Then hydrogen vehicles running at par with IC engine operating cost. This is interesting and a subject of discussion how it has achieved. And Fushan, as there was California, Fushan is most active city in hydrogen in China. Then we come to European Union. In 2003, 25 European nations launched combined R&D efforts for use of hydrogen. And in 2008, public-private partnership. This is very important actually. The government alone cannot drive everything. It has to be partnership. And in my opinion, the research institute, like ISRO, even the universities say join their hand, is learning for them and benefit for the society. Then we have S2 to replace 7% of, as I was talking, here they are concentrating because the maximum use of natural gas in European Union or European countries is for room heating. So they're cold countries. So they plan hydrogen to replace 7% of natural gas for heating by 2030 and 32% by 2040. The target you see. Targets also fixed for hydrogen application industry, refinery and ammonia production. Germany has successfully run hydrogen fuel train developed by Alstom. 3,000 such trains are being planned. And you have heard previous gentleman from Germany on VC, he said Siemens has developed, when he was talking about Siemens, how they are interacting and how he's supporting Siemens. Siemens has developed a prototype for the hydrogen train. So this is one thing which is now very coming up. Finally, we have Japan. Okay, what Japan did? Government support, $260 million allocated for R&D in hydrogen and fuel cell, leading player, fuel cell-based CSP, combined heat and power cycle, for household established in 2009. Now 20,000 such units are operative in Japan. Fuel cell-based, combined heating and power cycles. And one interesting thing, the Japan has created a micro turbine-based power generator, good for each house. And earlier I was advocating this. Why not say in India you have natural gas? Why don't you have that micro turbine based everything? We call it all in one. One Swiss solution was the name I gave that application. You can have the heating, you can have cooling, you can have refrigeration, or even the lighting. Anything can happen. So this is what they want planned. As of June 2019, they have sold about 3219 fuel cell based electric vehicles. In 2018, consortium of 11 companies, including Toyota, Nissan, and established Japan S2 Mobility, aimed at making 80 hydrogen fueling stations. And you see, again, target of 80, they have achieved 117 by 2020 itself. Target was for 221. So when you actually think of doing something, you can. That's what happened. Japan tells us how to do it. Now, final 2 slides. What are the problems? What are the benefits in the hydrogen mobility? The qualitative benefit of zero emissions. It goes without saying. Very interesting. Long range, which was not achieved by CNG. You can get 500 to 800 kilometers in one fill. It's very interesting. Only alternative was LNG. I will just come in the final slide on that. The subsidy on fuel cell and fuel cell based electric vehicles, S2 fueling station. Then there is available subsidy now. Foreign exchange saving for hydrocarbon importing countries. Then we have bottlenecks. What are the problems? Polluting hydrocarbon producing use green fuel. So I saw you have the black, you have the gray, you have the purple, so many. So those source of hydrogen should convert back to green hydrogen. Let's use green hydrogen better way. Lack of charging and filling station, OBBS. Is opportunity for many of the people. Why not to start that actually? Then costly and highly inflammable compared to hydrogen production from natural gas is produced from renewable, expensive as of today. Costly batteries, huge investment in lithium ion batteries, total cost of ownership, and hydrogen being light gas, it needed pressurized, which I have covered earlier. Now the final warning, water requirement. This came also when we are discussing about shale gas, the fracturing, hydrofracturing. Here it comes. If you really want to split water into hydrogen molecule, chemically if you have that equation, you need almost 10 liters of water for 1 kg of hydrogen. That is chemically. But practically when you start that process in a laboratory or in the production scale, you need 60 to 95 liters of water. This is a study given by a consultant. So this is one problem. The effect of this problem has been, you can say there was a plant, Terry Callis, they cancelled their 6 gigawatt green hydrogen project in South Australia because of water problem. So we must be careful while pursuing those projects. Now finally, for India, I'll call it Atmanirbhar Bharat. So many initiatives of the government. They said gas-based economy. By 2030, we'll have 15% natural gas in our primary energy basket. Good statement, but I will laud this statement because when you have a tough target, even if you achieve 60%, you are the winner. What I want to say, that with the present infrastructure in India, including pipeline transportation, including LNG regasification or receiving terminals, you cannot get 15% of the gas consumption. Impossible. So the study which I conducted, it gave me the best possible way with the growth which we are having, year-on-year growth of primary energy, we can go up to 12%. But as I said, even 12% is not bad from present 6%. It's a big challenge. So government feels that this is one alternative. And mind it, it is not only hydrogen, hydrogen, and hydrogen. No. It is a win-win for all. Even if you use natural gas, you are still better. And this kind of challenge will give rise to other development. I was hearing one Professor Agrawal of IIT Kanpur. He said, the IC engine efficiency will go such high that you will forget about using CNG. I said, very good. If anyone of us or industry member wants to take a challenge, it is very welcome step actually. We love it. So, proceed further. LNG policy. Government says, as I said, CNG has a problem of range. One fill you can go 200 kilometers. So the LNG, which has much more range. You can go 500, 800 kilometers, depending on the tankage, and it is not a pressurized one. They said, okay, we'll have 1,000 station along the quadrilateral, and also we'll have freedom. Anybody, that's a government policy, wants to establish a LNG dispensing station anywhere in India, within anybody's GA allocated, is allowed. Very big thing, actually. Even in Delhi, IGL is the authorized entity for city gas distribution and CNG. If some of you want to have a LNG station here, he's most welcome, actually. Government says yes. So this very, very good initiative for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Then renewable energy thrust. You see that we have 2020, I think it was 100 gigawatt, revised to 175. They say before you come to end of 2020, why not to have 2030? They say 450 gigawatt. They say, no, use other non-fossil fuel, make it 500 gigawatt. So what I will say, even if you are not at 100%, you got 70% success, 60% success, most welcome, actually. Very good. So this renewable energy thrust is very high. And hydrogen mission, that's what we are talking about today. So it is opened, actually, government taking its own initiative, opening it to private, opening it to everybody. So I think for the better one, my personal view is that it is a coexistence of various alternatives, which suits best for the environment, because the progress has to continue, and environment also has to be best. With this, I think, let me again thank, Dr. Garg and his team for organizing such a nice conference in the right time, and thank you very much for your listening.